You revere Ali ibn Abi Talib as the Lion of God, yet few grasp how his legacy silently shapes both Islamic law and mystical paths. Was he merely the fourth caliph, or the secret key to unlocking divine knowledge? Tonight, we cut through centuries of politicking and esotericism to expose the true force of Ali's shadow. Will you dare to follow where it leads? Unwritten precedents. Ali's judgments at Kufa weren't archived in dusty volumes. They echoed in oral rulings that became the backbone of later Shah and Hanafa schools. His insistence on equity over precedent threatened Umayyad legalism, marking him as both a reformer and a rebel. From sword to scholar-lawgiver's dilemma. When Ali judged tribes he once fought alongside, he chose Quran and conscience over blood ties. This radical impartiality inspired mystics to see law not as rigid code, but as living revelation, foreshadowing the concept of hudud being softened by mercy. If Ali's sword defended the Ummah, his pens shaped its soul. Can true justice exist without the inner revolution he preached? Or does every court verdict pale beside the mystical path he walked, where law and love converge in silence, the hidden word? Sufi masters whisper of Kalimat al-Sir, the secret word imparted by Ali to his inner circle. This primal utterance, they claim, unlocks the veils of creation. No dusty jurist volumes record it. Only clandestine chains of transmission survive, passed in moonlit gatherings. The night of Wilaya legend holds Ali stood at the Prophet's grave, receiving divine light that he transmitted to select heirs. This Wilaya, spiritual authority, became the cornerstone of Shia Gnosis and inspired esoteric orders across Persia and India. Sword and pen united. His famed sword, Dul Fiqar, symbolizes inner conquest, victory over one's ego. Mystics meditate on its double blade to balance justice and compassion, arguing that real power lies in the heart's discipline, not in external decrees. If Ali's legacy spans both courtroom and cosmos, why have we confined him to a single legal chapter? Dare to seek his hidden teachings, and you risk upending every neat boundary between law, love, and the divine. Ibn Arab's inheritance. The famed Andalusian sage revered Ali as the gate to divine realities. His doctrine of Wahdat al-Wujud echoes Ali's unity of law and love, teaching seekers to discover Ali's spirit within their own hearts. The Naqshband lineage. Central Asian silsila trace their chain back to Ali through Abu Bakr and Salman al-Faris, blending sun paths with Shah depth. Their silent dhikr mirrors Ali's inward conquest. Qalandar wanderers, Persian dervishes adopt Ali's fierce compassion, living homeless, wielding Dul Fiqar symbols as reminders to slice through egoic veils more than flesh. In every courtroom, Ali ibn Abi Talib stands as the paragon of justice. In every Sufi gathering, he is the font of divine wisdom. How can one man embody both the unyielding blade of Sharia and the boundless flame of Gnosis? Tonight, we unravel that mystery. Where does strict legalism end and ecstatic insight begin? The judge's decrees, equity over custom. Ali's rulings in Kufa rejected tribal privilege. When faced with conflicting testimonies, he turned solely to the Quran, establishing the principle that divine text overrides societal norms. Mercy in the court. In the famously tender case of the unwitting consumer of wine, he prioritized truth and compassion, ordering investigation first, punishment only upon certainty, showing that justice in Islam must be tempered by empathy. The mystic's light secret teachings, Sufi chains, trace back to Ali's oral transmission of the Kalimat al-Sir, secret word, said to unveil creation's hidden layers. These teachings survive only in whispered gatherings, emphasizing inner realization over external scholarship. Dul Fikar as inner tool. His two-bladed sword becomes a meditation symbol. One blade cuts through injustice, the other through ego. Mystics invoke its image to balance firmness with compassion in their own spiritual practice. Convergence of paths law grounded in love. Ali's famous maxim, "No obedience to any creature in disobedience to the Creator," fuses legal duty with heartfelt devotion. True compliance with Sharia arises when the heart's love for God animates the letter of the law. Mysticism anchored in duty. Conversely, uninhibited mystical experience risks moral drift without the boundary of Sharia. Orders like the Naqshbandiya insist that silent dhikr follow strict ethical observance, echoing Ali's unity of law and light. Schism and synthesis. Historic rift. Across centuries, jurists condemned certain Sufi practices as bid'ah, innovation, while radical mystics spurned all legal forms. This split marginalized both true scholarship and genuine spirituality. Modern reconciliation. Thinkers, such as Muhammad Abdu, have called for curricula integrating fiqh and tasawwuf, training jurists in inner purification and mystics in ethical rigor, aiming to restore Ali's holistic model. Key takeaways. Ali's judicial decisions and secret teachings are not separate but complementary facets of his mission to manifest divine justice and mercy. The metaphor of Dul Fikar illustrates the necessity of balancing firm rulings with inner transformation. Neglecting either Sharia or Gnosis betrays the full scope of Ali's legacy. True spiritual authority weaves law and love into one. In the 21st century, Ali's dual inheritance lives on in orders that refuse to choose between Sharia's rigor and Gnosis's glow. From the deserts of Sind to the suburbs of Paris, these communities model how inner awakening and ethical action heal personal and societal wounds. Tonight, we visit three movements that carry Ali's torch, revealing how his hidden synthesis offers real-world remedies for our fractured Ummah. The Naqshband Revival. Silent witness in action. Covert compassion. The Naqshband path, tracing spiritual chains back to Ali, emphasizes silent dhikr and strict adherence to fiqh. In modern Pakistan, Naqshband centers run free legal clinics and literacy programs, applying Sharia principles of maslahah, public welfare, while guiding seekers inward through silent remembrance. Their approach: heal bodies before hearts, then purify hearts to sustain justice. Trauma healing circles. After flood disasters, Naqshbandi volunteers convene healing circles. Participants sit in silence reciting Ali's supplications, then share testimonies of loss and forgiveness. This blend of communal therapy and spiritual practice mirrors Ali's balance. Law protects the vulnerable, while inner light restores dignity. The Shadil path. Open remembrance and social reform. Vocal dhikr in the streets. Rooted in Ali's generosity, the Shadil order practices loud dhikr, chanting God's names in public processions. In North African cities, these gatherings draw neighbors of all backgrounds, breaking sectarian barriers. Their public worship underscores that Sharia need not be hidden behind closed doors. Divine remembrance is a civic act of solidarity. Advocacy for Justice Shadhils in France have formed Justice and Light associations, campaigning for prisoners' rights and anti-discrimination laws. Inspired by Ali's fearless defense of the weak, they lobby municipal councils, bringing legal expertise and moral clarity to policy debates, living proof that mysticism without social engagement betrays its own promise. The Tijan way, service as spiritual path, charity as catalyst. The Tijan order, venerating Ali's humility, makes zakat obligatory for all members, beyond legal minimums. In West African communities, Tijan networks operate microfinance cooperatives, offering Sharia-compliant loans to women entrepreneurs. By merging legal charity with inner intention, they break cycles of poverty and dependency. Reconciliation programs. In post-conflict Senegal, Tijan sheikhs lead Circle of Reconciliation workshops. Former combatants and victims sit together, reciting Ali's prayers for unity, then engage in mediated dialogue. This ritualized process, blending Sharia's restorative justice with mystical empathy, has reduced local feuds and fostered communal trust. Philosophy and practice, healing the Ummah, integrating law and light. These orders demonstrate that Ali's legacy transcends abstract theology. It offers a blueprint for holistic healing. Legal frameworks safeguard rights. Mystical practices nourish souls. When both are wielded in tandem, communities recover from trauma faster and sustain harmony longer. Challenges and opportunities, skeptics label such integration diluted piety or politicized mysticism. Yet the true test lies in outcomes: lower crime rates around Sufi centers, increased literacy and economic resilience, and measurable drops in sectarian tension. Ali's dual heritage thrives where love empowers law and law channels love. Key takeaways: Naqshband clinics and trauma circles show silent dhikr can accompany tangible aid. Shadhil, public remembrance turns worship into peacemaking. Tijan charity-led cooperatives and reconciliation workshops transform social repair into spiritual practice. Ali's synthesis of justice and mercy remains a living remedy whenever we blend law's protection with the heart's illumination. You think reconciliation is a soft answer to hard questions, yet in fractured communities, simply sitting in a circle with your former enemy can be the boldest act of courage. Tonight, we enter the circles of reconciliation born from Ali's legacy and witness how personal dhikr has become an unexpected shield against extremism. Prepare to see peace not as weakness, but as the sharpest sword in the fight for the Ummah's soul. The Syrian Village Experiment. In war-scarred homes, elders resurrected Ali's model of justice and mercy by inviting former combatants and victims to share a silent dhikr session, followed by a moderated dialogue. Over 3 evenings, gunshots gave way to Quranic recitation, and the first tearful apologies fell before any legal restitution was discussed. The result? A village agreement to disarm local militias and pool resources for rebuilding homes, proof that shared remembrance of Ali's mercy can override the urge for revenge. Nigerian Youth Restorative Forums. In Jos, where sectarian clashes decimated neighborhoods, a local Sufi order inspired by Ali's equitable rulings hosts monthly justice circles. Participants, including families of both Christian and Muslim victims, sit in a ring reciting Ali's supplications, then recount personal losses. This ritual, blending dhikr with testimony, laid the groundwork for community-driven peace committees that now mediate land disputes without state courts. Rohingya exile solidarity. Among Rohingya refugees in Bangladesh, displaced scholars established Circle of Ali, a program where scorched families and volunteer counselors convene nightly under tents. Silent meditation on Ali's sayings precedes storytelling about loss and hope. These gatherings have reduced self-harm incidents and fostered mutual care networks, illustrating that Ali's inner light can ignite collective resilience even in camps. Silent vigil as daily discipline. Mirroring Ali's inward conquest, many at-risk youths in European suburbs adopt a simple ritual: 5 minutes of silent remembrance, dhikr, each dawn, invoking Ali's names for justice and mercy. Psychologists working with these volunteers report significant drops in anger and radical thought patterns. By internalizing Ali's balanced legacy, individuals reclaim agency over their impulses. Breathwork and the double-edged sword. Inspired by Dulfikar's symbolism, practitioners synchronize deep breathing with the phrase Al-Yun wal-Haq, Ali and the truth. This twofold invocation, mirroring the sword's twin blades, replaces the adrenaline rush of extremist rhetoric with centered calm. Neuroscientific studies show reduced amygdala activation, suggesting that mystical practice can physiologically counter fear-driven radicalization. Online dhikr pods. In digital enclaves, small groups gather via end-to-end encrypted apps each week to perform communal dhikr, share reflections on Ali's ethical rulings, and pledge nonviolence. Moderators trained in both fiqh and Sufism guide newcomers, ensuring the practice stays rooted in Ali's synthesis of law and love. These pods have become virtual sanctuaries where vulnerable souls find belonging without ideological coercion. You've seen extremists wield ideology as a weapon, but what if a single moment of silent remembrance, dhikr, could dismantle that weapon from within? Tonight, we share real stories of men and women who, when gripped by anger or radicalism, found refuge in Ali's balanced path, proving that even the darkest histories can be rewritten by the light of his legacy. The Paris convert, from street fury to silent peace background, Karim, raised amid suburban gang violence, carried deep resentment toward society and faith. He drifted into an extremist cell, convinced that anger was righteous. Turning point. Invited by a Naqshband friend to a private dhikr session invoking Ali's names of justice and mercy, Karim experienced an unexpected calm. For the first time, his clenched fists relaxed. Aftermath. He left the cell that night, sought out a Sufi mentor, and now runs a community center teaching youth nonviolence through daily dhikr, emulating Ali's fusion of law-based outreach and inner transformation. The Nigerian scholar, from doctrine to compassion. Background. Aisha, a promising fiqh student, once dismissed mysticism as innovation. She argued that activism alone could change her homeland's turmoil. Turning point. While researching Ali's rulings, she stumbled upon accounts of his silent vigil and mercy-based judgments. Curious, she attended a Shadhil street dhikr gathering. The communal chanting cracked her scholarly armor. She felt the power of collective love. Aftermath. Aisha now integrates vocal dhikr into her university lectures, encouraging students to balance critical debate with spiritual practice. Her classes report lower incidences of sectarian hostility and higher collaboration across schools of thought. The Rohingya youth, from trauma to trust. Background. Farid, orphaned in the 2017 atrocity, lived in the Cox's Bazar camp with seething grief. He joined an armed faction, believing retribution would heal his pain. Turning point. In the circle of Ali at the camp, a simple recitation of Ali's prayer for unity softened Farid's rage. That night, he dreamt of Dulfikar transforming into a pen, symbolizing the power to write new chapters. Aftermath. Farid abandoned violence, now facilitates peer-led dhikr circles and storytelling sessions. His group mediates disputes over scarce resources, channeling Ali's mercy to rebuild communal bonds. Shock and awe of the silent sword. The contrast between the swift strike of ideological rage and the patient unfolding of inner dhikr creates a cognitive rupture. When the heart experiences Ali's compassion firsthand, cognitive biases fueling extremism collapse. Community as crucible personal change often hinges on a trusting circle, be it a Sufi lodge or encrypted app group, where newcomers witness consistent mercy. This mirrors Ali's courtroom and mystical gatherings, law and love enacted in safe, accountable spaces. Ritualizing renewal, regular practices, whether a daily breathwork invoking Al-Yun wal-Haq or monthly reconciliation circles, anchor transformation. Each repetition reinforces a new identity, from extremist US versus them to compassionate we for all. Key insights: a single dhikr invoking Ali's dual attributes can interrupt cycles of anger and radicalization. True change thrives in communities that model both ethical action and spiritual depth. Ali's legacy offers a concrete roadmap. Combine justice, Sharia, with mercy, Gnosis, to heal individuals and societies. We've seen Ali's fierce judgments forge justice, his hidden teachings ignite souls, and his legacy heal wounds. Now we stand at the crossroads. Will we wield his sword to punish, or hold it aloft as a beacon of mercy? True mastery of his dual inheritance demands we enact both, upholding law with integrity and nurturing inner light with devotion. Only then can the Ummah reclaim wholeness. Unity of opposites. Ali teaches that justice without compassion becomes tyranny, and compassion without accountability becomes chaos. His life invites us to embrace both rigor and receptivity, meet the world's wrongs with clear judgment, then soften hearts with silent remembrance. Daily integration. Each verdict we render, each breath we chant, can reflect Ali's synthesis. When we balance firm ethics with gentle mercy, both in personal choices and community leadership, we revive his prophetic model in our time. A call to conscience. Dare to carry Dhul Fiqar not as a weapon of division, but as a symbol of unity. Let law and light guide every step, and you will walk the path of the lion, undaunted, whole, and free. May we honor Ali ibn Abi Talib by living his integrated legacy, standing for justice, bowing in devotion, and forging a community where sword and light converge. In that harmony lies the healing of our world.